wanna be happy like you. I wanna be happy like you. You make it look easy, right? Can you please spare some light? I wanna be happy like you.
All right, guys. Welcome into the second episode of the How to Unhex Your Ex podcast. Matt Hickson here with my co-host, Tia. How are you?
I'm super, honestly. I love this fall time in the mountains,
It's cozy. It's all like getting cold outside, which is rad.
Get to wear my fun sports hoodies. Very anonymous sports, though,
Yeah.
Can't be too committed.
Yeah, I can't commit to sports. So on this episode, we're going to dive into the wild world of sports here. But before we do that, something that we're going to try to touch on every episode, since we're coming from a parenting to household thing, is we're going to do like a brief touch on not necessarily giving out current events, not necessarily giving full opinions on current events, just more discussing just really quick the things that have happened so far in the week and talk about we want to kind of touch on some current events and how we're trying to parent and navigate some of those things.
Yeah.
And currently we have so many events. It's kind of hard to pick and choose.
I think our kids really because they're now at an age, we got there's a tiny one, but then there's 3 boys that are all in late elementary school, early middle school. And so we're getting more access to current events and things that are going on in the world. And we're having to have those conversations with them in a more mature way. So
yeah. Absent of the obvious political discourse that's going on currently, and the world wars that are sparking and supposedly being put out. And one of the things that I actually ran across this week that I know have been dealing with here at our house is the Roblox conversation.
Oh.
So Chris Hansen just came out with his Roblox deep dive where he kind of exposes a bunch of craziness that goes on there. So we've been sorting through that here. So that's been an interesting thing, because it's probably the only thing ever that being more oblivious is a good thing. So Hattie will mess around on Roblox from time to time, but she can't read. So that helps. So people messaging her and things like that are less concerning. And then, but with the older boys, it's a terrifying idea. These people just reaching out to them, and video games in general.
Well,
we could do a whole episode on video.
Oh my God.
That's actually, that could be episode 2. That could be episode 3. But yeah, that's something that it's kind of interesting. We've been trying to navigate that.
I think Coen really missed the Roblox. I don't know if it was just not something that he ever got into early enough for it to really stick, but that's not a place where he spent a lot of time. So I know that this for you specifically is going to be, you're going to teach me things that I probably didn't know.
Well, I probably won't, because I don't know that much about Roblox. I do know that they've had a lot of issues with grooming.
Yeah, man. I hear, so we were actually in the car the other day on the way to get lunch, and Hattie was in the back seat, and I had the radio turned down pretty low. But it was a class action lawsuit advertisement about Roblox and sexual assault, basically, or sexual grooming victims.
Yeah.
And Hattie's what are they talking about on the radio? And I'm like, man, this is I'm sure a very effective way to reach people, to let them know that this is a thing that they might be interested in. But also, holy shit, our kids.
Yeah, or they're going to hear it.
Yeah, they're fully asking me now, what's going on? I'm like,
You don't need to know, really. It's interesting because we with the older boys. We try to say, stay away from the Roblox. And then Hattie's like, well, I want to play with you, with the boys. And we're like, if you're playing directly with Hattie, it's okay.
Sure.
But sorry.
Not running around in the ether. It's not fine.
Yeah. He'll be giving out her address.
It's interesting because when we were growing up, the real danger was outside, or at least our parents thought that it was, like, I guess not outside. The predators or the kidnappers or whatever, like that was what our parents were most afraid of. And at this point, because of that fear, we've kept our children indoors, and the predators have moved online where they're all hanging out.
They come into your house now.
Yeah, like I imagine the streets are probably pretty safe for our kids to be biking on and stuff at this point, really, because the predators are all in chat rooms.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like they're not driving the white vans anymore, you guys. They're literally just hanging out on their iPhones, posing as children.
Yeah,
which is
so creepy.
Weird. It's just unhinged, man.
So that's a current event that we've been sorting through. It's not like Roblox just got creepy, but we are kind of discovering how truly creepy it is. And then
just so sad because it's a really cool, what I've seen of it looks like a really cool, simple interface to engage with and like have fun and run around a weird made up world on.
Yeah, and there's so many different games. Like there's 5 million games that you can do. And like Hattie just likes to do like dress them up games. Like she just wants to make like different faces.
I'll let you know, I just thought about something that I actually also read about Roblox. It's like the dress them up game, maybe, where these like characters are undressing themselves and putting themselves in having sex in a bed or something.
What?
Yeah, so like it seems so,
it's creepy.
It's just so creepy, but it's creepy because it's made to be simple for children. And so to prey on somebody in that way, it's just so.
Another thing that we kind of touched on, given the current events that are going on right now, is the graphic nature of news. Yeah, of news with all of the recent events. I mean, you can pretty much kind of glean from the context here some of the things I'm referring to. But with kids having access now to YouTube and things like that, other media outlets, whatever those may be, and with the normalization of violence just in general. And I don't mean violence like a video game. I mean violence like actual videos of people being unalived.
Yeah.
And the normalization of that. It's a horrifying thing to think of our kids stumbling upon that while just benevolently looking at something, or you're innocently looking at something. And so that's a whole other thing, and again, in an attempt to touch on current events, this is breaching a whole other topic that we can make a whole other thing about.
Yeah. I think what started your thought here was that even the sound of the news is so daunting and dark and heavy and hard that our kids getting just a byline about the news is going to be overwhelming for their systems. It has been for our child. I can speak to that for sure. And to protect myself as much as him, I have limited all of the news that I am hearing. We don't ever have it on at home. I'm not ever talking about it with anybody around him because it will absolutely stress him out. I will also add that I used to be one to have a lot of headlines flash across my phone throughout the day that would just be like a little cue of panic every single time. So I've taken all that off. And I now only read the news on Ground News. And this is a shameless plug for Ground News. I don't know. Do you?
I've never heard of it.
Oh my God. Okay. So for those of us who really want to take an effort and a stride to have some discernment in the world and not just live in an echo chamber, and have the opportunity to read broadly covered news stories by lots of different people in their lens. And they give you a breakdown of how right-leaning the article is.
Oh, that's
incredible, or how left-leaning, or how centric. It's really, really a powerful tool in discernment for me. It has been. If you're living in an echo chamber and you're getting all of the same news in the exact same way, you're gonna feel terrified all the time. And this has really helped me recalibrate myself to not get a bunch of feedback from a lot of different places and rather go to one centric source that has lots of different options in very clearly defined categories. That's easy for me to say, okay, how trustworthy is this? What are the citing and all the things? It's wonderful.
I'll have to check that out. I do that. I use Breaking Points. It's a podcast, and it's pretty objective. They have one person who is more right-leaning and one person who's more left-leaning when they report. And so that kind of helps. Finding objective news now is tough because, everybody's got an opinion. And so one of my big things with media and just anything is it doesn't matter how radical your point is. If you search things the right way, you will find support for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it's news sourcing, and maybe that's the history major in me where you have to support all of the, you have to find these academic, trust but verify. I know someone that is going to love hearing that in this podcast. Trust but verify. They are proud of them. Yeah. So in moving on, again, we're going to continue trying to just touch on current events.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get in the
deep parent in the 2025. And so we're just going to have a real moment here at the start. We get to sat down with each other and just kind of go over some of the stuff.
Yeah, it is hard. It seems to get harder every day.
It really does.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think any of us anticipated parenting in anything that looks like our world does now. So
this dystopian.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's wild. It's like the Hunger Games.
It's like Animal Farm.
Yeah, we're doing it. But all right.
It's an Orwell book.
So let's move to sports. Who wants to talk about sports? So people close to us will know that our child is he's sports obsessed, to put it mildly. He lives and breathes every form of sport. Navigating that in a split household has been interesting. I'm pretty sure Coen came out of the womb
with a baseball.
Yeah. And it was weird. I don't know how you made that, but he did. But so he came out of the womb with a baseball in his hand, and then 3 years old hit, and we strong-armed him onto a team in South Asheville. And
we literally lied on it.
Yeah, we lied and said that he was 4, so he could play, and he did. Yeah. And he did great. Yeah. And then COVID happened. Yeah. And so we couldn't play. And then we moved him to Hominy Valley, and he did great there. Yeah. And we had some folks telling us that he needed to play at a higher level. So we took him and found a home for him for a long time with a local travel team. Yeah. We had quite the family there.
Yep, 4 years we were with this team.
But with him moving into travel, that created a whole other realm of complications.
Yep.
That was what we kind of wanted to work through initially here is talking about how we kind of navigated those obstacles. Because, go ahead.
I will say in the beginning of travel fall, that was also like really close to the start of there being a lot more cooperation in our collective family unit.
I hadn't really thought about it, but it could have been one of the the catalysts, because we were like, this is not going to work if we don't find a way to cooperate here.
And because we've seen families that are non-nuclear and really struggle with this. Like, yeah. Not in the conventional struggle, this is hard to schedule way. In the, I have a point to prove, And so I don't want my kid to go play ball for this team, so I'm not going to take him to practice. He can go to practice when it's your days.
Even as intense as literally having one team at dad's and one team at mom.
Correct, yeah.
And if dad's team's practices and games fell on mom's weekend or week,
Yep.
they didn't go.
Yep. Yeah.
And that created a whole, I mean, that was wild.
Yeah.
That was wild to watch.
And it's not really a unique situation like that, though. I feel like that probably is a pretty unique situation, but lots of people struggle with how to make this function and functional within their co-parenting situation, be that really functional or not functional at all. Like, it's hard. This shit is hard.
Yeah, and that's speaking with one child.
Oh my God, dude.
Where ours becomes more layered is that I have
4 whole children.
4 whole kids. So I have 2 stepsons who I love more than life. And then I
love them too.
And then I have my little grill that is just, she's so incredible. So when you have Coen having played at Hominy Valley and played there for his entire baseball life up until when we branched out into the travel world, it made life super easy because everybody was going to the same place.
Yeah.
And so
the hardest thing was, if they happened to have a game at the same time, but they were literally on adjacent fields. We were just walking back and forth.
yeah, it's like, which field am I going to stand at? And then we jumped into travel ball life. Well, when we jumped into travel ball life, it doesn't mean that the other kids aren't allowed to do what they want to do.
Absolutely.
And so that is what fostered that necessity to cooperate.
Yeah.
And when you also combine that with the fact that my wife works,
Yep.
your wife works.
Yep.
We also have, I was traveling at the time. So
Absolutely.
half of the time I wasn't even in the state.
You were in the state, but at the very opposite end.
Yeah, there was a whole time when that was the case. So one thing that we found early was divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm. And I will also add that no part of me ever really wanted you and Amber to work out. I loved Amber. Like, out the gate, she is a great mom, and she is somebody that I already really loved and respected. So that added to my want to support what you guys have going on. You have a whole lot more shit going on than we do in your home. So watching you guys, I can't imagine in my mind being like, I just want him to struggle through this because my kid's attached to you.
Yeah.
And so it was very easy for me to be like, how can we help? It was not hard for me at all to be in that space. That felt so natural for me to be like, shit, y'all have way too much shit going on to make this make sense. So how can we help?
Yeah. And that's awesome.
It felt like what I wanted. It felt like a step towards what I wanted, which was a cooperative family. And I think it also was what you wanted and what Amber wanted and what Chris wanted. And so we all stepped collectively towards this feeling of holy shit, we kind of need each other.
Yeah, but it's finding that common ground.
Oh yeah,
that's so really hard. It's so hard. Moving through the travel ball realm, it did help. And you also find that travel ball's insanely expensive. My man has to have a bat every other week. Yeah. And so navigating the monetary side of that was a whole other...
You also get marooned in the most podunk armpit places in America.
It's ridiculous.
And so we're all marooned there together. Yeah. The ball team eats together and the kids want to swim together. And so those are common shared spaces that we were forced into kind of.
Well, yeah. And it's interesting to think and hard to fathom that there are situations where if you're fighting, you and I were feuding, the thought of not being able to go to my kid's game because you're going to be there is that's hard to swallow.
And I think it was T-ball. That was the first real like forging together of our spaces.
We had
where we had to.
Because we had not done that. We had not done that. And so, that was probably the first helping of Crow and ego that you just had to get it down.
Yeah.
You had to swallow it and realize that if I want to see my child do the things that he loves and not sit out, we're going to have to do that.
And it wasn't sexy in the beginning.
Oh, no.
We were at opposite ends
of the bleachers. Yeah.
We were at opposite ends of the field. It was...
Take your own pictures, dude.
Yeah.
You are not getting my picture.
It feels great to be able to laugh about this now because, God, it was a nightmare to be in it.
Yeah. I got behind the base first, so I will be taking these pictures. You can have your outfield pictures.
Oh my God. It's
a reality though. It's a reality and people and I say people because that was us. We had that fight. And then now we're sending each other pictures constantly. So it is weird and I don't know. It's just bizarre to think that we were there. And
I remember like the feeling of walking away from those sporting events though, and like those mutual spaces feeling like drained and exhausted and like just tired.
Yeah, and the reason being it's a choice. Like you're making that decision. If you're being that if you're trying to hide that much and hating that much and being that upset, it's a choice. And not only is it, I mean, it takes a lot of effort to be like, oh man, I'm a sprint over there, dude. Coen's up their bat. Like, watch me go, dude, because I'm beating them. I mean, it's just silly. But it's in that moment, it felt right. But it was exhausting. I hadn't even thought about it, but it was absolutely exhausting.
Yeah, like walking away from those earlier mutual times was, oh man, I just remember the way that I got into the car. Like, I could not be more tired and frustrated. And I don't even really understand because, like, I really like Amber. I really like Matt. Yeah. Down deep inside, like, why are we this committed to the suck?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see it through that lens now. But while we were in it, it very much felt like the only option. And it felt like a preservation of some kind. A protector showed up to be like, no, this person isn't safe, or this does not feel safe. I don't want to be here in this context. This is terrible.
Yeah.
It also felt weird too to show up with our respective partners into that space. Like, not weird in the sense that it just was like a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
So many firsts
were
happening. There was just so much going on.
Yeah. And that's another discussion for another day. Those navigating through that, like, this is who I'm with and this is the choices I've made, and learning how to settle with that, and then working through that and discovering like, oh wow, this person's freaking awesome. Do you understand why they made these choices? But yeah, so we moved into the travel ball thing was interesting, and we quickly found that working together was going to be the only way to make it work.
Yeah, not only with the scheduling, but like you said, financially speaking, being cooperative in this way has been, oh my God, money saving to the nine.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Like, it's just been infinitely a better place to be than it felt like we were on opposite teams, and it very much just feels now like financially and in every other way. Oh yeah, very much more cooperative.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
So then moving on forward, Coen played for this team. Coen he did his thing, and then it came time to part ways.
Well, I think also let's talk a little bit about the fact that our children are multi athletic. Multi-fluent in athletics. Like, they don't want to just play one sport. And so we have to now figure out not just financially, but scheduling for multiple sports being played by multiple children.
Yeah. Yeah. We had Coen playing baseball, the boys playing basketball. At one point, the boys playing basketball.
And Hattie cheering.
And now Hattie cheering. Yeah. So that's a new thing that's evolved. And cheering is on the football schedule, which is, we're going to get into that in a minute. Yeah. So then we also had to work together after, because this Coen's departure from the team he had been with was sort of abrupt and not, I don't want to get into the semantics of it simply because it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be.
But yeah, bonus, no way.
But yeah, it doesn't. We don't need that. But
ultimately, Coen had to make adjustments that he could not make in the environment that he was in, not for lack of effort on anybody's behalf, not for his or theirs. I think the way one of his coaches described it to me was really wonderful, and it stuck, is that I played on lots of teams and I played for lots of coaches. And sometimes one person telling you something doesn't stick in the way they're telling it to you. So somebody else telling it to you in a different way may work better. And basically that was the feedback that we got, was that Coen, needed to find his confidence. He needed to, believe in himself in the game as much as he did with his words.
Yeah.
And he needed to find a place to do that at.
Yeah.
So that was a new adventure.
We scrambled. And thanks to some close friends, we were able to find him a spot to hang for the year. And it was playing with friends. And
that was his only real feedback, was that he wanted to play with his buddies from school. And
we were able to make that happen.
Yeah.
But in that scramble, Coen reignited probably one of our biggest feuds. And so this is where we get into the nitty gritty here. So our child's want and desire to play football.
Oh my God. Contact football specifically.
Contact football. So football is something that Coen had mentioned throughout the years. And it's interesting because football was one of the first major instances of an activity that half of the kids were allowed to do and the other half were not.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of the way to introduce this topic. So basically what it came down to was you and I found ourselves on different sides of this. And it was interesting because we spent a lot of time on opposite sides.
Yep.
And then we found ourselves on the same sideline.
I think it's also interesting to point out that this specific discourse started before we actually started really co-parenting well together as well. It's been a thing that's been wanted pretty much for the duration of our situation, we're knowing each other and our child.
Yeah.
He's always wanted to play contact football. I have always been a hard no.
Yeah.
And you haven't been.
I have not been. And it's not that it's a thing that I think that he has to do.
Sure.
But it's always been a thing that I'm like, hey, dude, if you want to do it. And it's interesting that to introspectively look at that situation and realize that those roots are deeper than just my want for my kid to be able to do what he wants to do. Growing up,
both of us, I think, layered for both of us.
Yeah, because when I was younger, I wanted to do a lot of things, and my mom was pretty. She was very protective, so she didn't want me doing a lot of those things.
No. Which I will add is pretty much the reason why I also, the place I came from when it came to Coen playing football was like, it's my perfect baby angel.
Yeah.
And him's delicate.
And I And I was coming from the side of like,
Yeah.
look, this is what happened to me, and I will not be the one that limits my child. It's not going to happen.
Oh boy, and did we go to our corners?
We did. And so the first time we had it out, we both kind of agreed to disagree. This was before, like you said, back.
Yeah, at that point, like Coen really, it was more about a scheduling thing that was a hard no from both of us at that point. Like, there's just no way we can make this work. So that kind of put it on the shelf until he got a little bit older and we got a little bit more wise and able to talk. But he like brought it back to the table. I want to play football. And
that's when things got somehow even messier.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's because it was him at that point.
Yeah.
Coming to me and saying, like, Mom, I really want to play football. And all of the fear just rushing into my brain. And there's so much more that goes into it for me, too, as to it's not just about him being like breakable, because the kid's been drilled with a 55-mile-an-hour ball, broke his arm, survived. He lived through that. Like, could have been worse. Sure. But for me, it's like, I hear these horror stories about these NFL players who end up with, what is it, CTE?
CTE, yeah.
And the ways that, like, it's the long-term effects of having multiple brain injuries over time that causes that. And how if you already have a predisposition for this in your history for mental unwellness or anything, how it's just like, it just seems like asking stupid questions and getting stupid answers, making dumb choices. That's how it was in my mind, you know, just like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So it was totally fear-based. My response, my hard no, came from a place of just deep fear.
Yeah. Understandable. But in the moment, what complicated the situation
was our child being like, I really want this.
Yeah. Well, and even moreover from a parenting standpoint, and this was the first time we've ever ended up in this situation where you had 3 of the 4 parents essentially saying, go for it.
Yep.
And one person was left standing, and this was a learning thing for everybody involved. Because at the time I couldn't, it's hard because a lot of times you get more entrenched in the battle than you do the cause.
Absolutely.
And you're like, no, I'm winning this.
Yeah, that becomes a point to prove.
Yeah, I'm winning this one, dude. And I think both of us
absolutely
can get to that point quicker than we care to admit.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm not saying it's universal, but I am saying that it's a pretty common. And we both dug in and we were like, no, this is where it's at. And it's interesting because Amber was kind of ambivalent to it. Like, she just didn't care. She was like, I think he should play if he wants, but it is what it is.
She never, what's the word I'm looking for? She never disregarded the way that I felt. Yeah. But she also let it be known that she didn't feel the same, and that she if Coen wanted to play ball, she felt like that was fine.
And that's essentially the line that Chris took as well.
Yeah,
I feel like
very much the same. So it was kind of like us being at very opposite ends of this spectrum, and both of them standing there like, you guys, we don't really. What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, are you?
So.
What are you yelling about?
Yep.
But so the interesting thing here, though, right, is this is one of the few times in life where majority doesn't jam. And at the end of the day, it came down to you and I and the decision that we were making and where we were with it. And we chose to not push boundaries.
Yeah, so I would like to really drive home how much that meant to me, especially in the moment, because I think a lot of the reason that I respond in the way that I do, in that way from a fear-based place, is because people have done a lot of shutting down my fears with logic and with, their own personal experience. But very few people have been like, I see you being afraid. it's okay. You can be afraid. That's totally reasonable. And then just let me be afraid. Like that was my experience in this was you did push back. You did let me know that you did not feel the same way, but you did not say, I'm overriding you here and I'm just going to abandon, this cooperation because this is something I feel deeply about. And I respect you so much for that. And I appreciate you so much for that because I truly feel like me being able to get to the place where I'm like, okay, this is no longer a hard no was because you allowed me to have a hard no in the first place because you were able to be like, I'm so annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed that you won't just like let our kid play football, but you allowed yourself to be annoyed and you allowed me to process that. And it took a long time.
Yeah. It was,
A couple of years.
Yeah, it was a couple of years. It's one of those things it's one of those situations where you realize you look at it and you're like, what am I fighting for? Because in that moment, you being hard-headed, being steadfast, and just trudging through it's gonna deconstruct so many things.
Yep.
And that we had worked forever to build.
Yeah. And I think too, this was also the first time where we didn't shy away from the discourse, like the hard to engage parts. Like we just committed kind of to still talking about it from our respective corners. But like it was the first time for me, at least, that I really remember, like I'm not going to back down, but I'm also not going to comment at this without, compassion. And so we both went into this mutual space to like tell each other how we felt. And it never felt unsupportive.
No.
It definitely at the beginning felt like we just were very convinced we were right.
Yeah. I think there were tears.
Oh my God.
There were tears.
There were
and
so many tears.
there were some raised voices and then
Some heckling from fans at local football games that Coen wasn't playing in.
oh yeah,
Really?
tons of heckling. Yeah,
Of his mother.
tons of heckling. Because it's interesting, and that had to be a hard thing for you to set with. Because
Heckling?
well, not just the heckling. I mean, the heckling was probably not one that's fun, but the thing is with the other kids playing, something that you guys are unbelievable with is always supporting the other kids, always supporting. You come to the games, no matter what. And so to see Coen go to these football games and you see him just literally gyrating.
Absolutely chomping at the bit to play on this field with these kids.
Yeah. And remaining entrenched for staying true to your convictions. And also for me is not tooting a horn, but for me to see that and still be like, it's her boundary.
Yeah.
And it's not the hill to die on. But I think more importantly, at some point you realize that nobody has to die on the hill.
Yep.
Like nobody has to die on the hill. Like at some point when you let, because time does heal a lot.
It sure does.
And
It calms a lot. It gives a lot of perspective.
yeah,
The further you get away from the chaos of the moment, it gives you a better hindsight's 2020.
yeah. And those conversations get easier, believe it or not. Coming back to the timeline here, Coen, when he, with the fallout from the team, and the scramble to find another one, this discussion reared its ugly head again.
Yeah.
And the initial conversation still was not super sexy.
Yep.
I remember sitting in our dining room. It's interesting because everybody had their side. Like, I feel like
Exact words where I still hate this, but it's no longer a no.
yeah, you're like, I don't love it, but it's fine.
Please say okay.
You're like, whatever. I'm not saying yes, but if he signs up, he does it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm not blaming you for injuries, because that was your big thing. The first time you're like, he could do it, but if he gets hurt, it's on you.
If he gets a concussion, it's all your fault.
If my kid turns into a potato, I've got to live with this the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
So that was one of the big ones. We fought that for years.
Yeah.
I mean, years. And
An unhinged amount of time.
who would have thought, like, we fought the football fight longer than we fought the divorce fight.
By a long shot.
I know. For you guys out there in the football fight.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Stay the course, dude. Stay the course.
Honestly, for me, man, I think I'm like you. It wasn't a hill I wanted to die on. And our kids live in a world that's kind of dangerous. I would so much rather him not look back on his childhood and go, I really kind of resent my mother for not letting me do this thing when I wanted to do this thing. And I don't want to ever, hearing your perspective, and again, driving home the fact that it means the most that you could be this vulnerable and connect back to a version of you that doesn't exist in this timeline anymore, but very much still exists, who didn't get to play ball because their mom was very protective. And that still stays with you as a 39-year-old man is enough for me to know that, like, I can't die on this hill.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think the biggest thing as a partner, a parenting partner going into this, is don't leverage that resentment.
Yeah.
Because coming at it and saying that my concerns are the only one that matters, and especially the do it anyway.
Oh my God, dude.
It's not the way to do it.
The way that would have completely unraveled everything.
Yeah.
And I heard something so pertinent to this conversation actually this morning. That's this one was talking about how if it requires her to rush, it's a no, period, every time. Because she knows the results of getting in the rush. Things get behind you, push yourself into this box, and then you resent whatever's going on because you rushed yourself.
Yeah.
And that is so very true, especially in this situation that I wasn't rushed to a yes. I would have resented you so much had you rushed me to that place. It wasn't sexy. There was some passive aggressive, comments about like, oh, no, Coen could be playing out there, but it's not necessarily from you, but a resounding, why won't you let your kid play ball? And so, I don't know. It was. I needed to go through that. I needed to push myself through that. I needed to stick to my no until I was ready to say yes. And I appreciate you very much for letting me say no all of that time.
Yeah.
And Coen too.
We won.
Yeah.
Together.
We won.
No one's left on the hill.
We may have leveled the hill and made it into a nice meadow with some flowers and beautiful.
One down.
One down.
Well, I think that rounds out our football discussion here. I think we're kind of hitting sand. I mean, at the end of the day, time, persistence, but
A lot of patience.
measured persistence.
Yeah.
Measured persistence.
Just be willing, I guess, to not die on the hill.
Well, and humility goes a long way also. Be able to hear the other person out and know that you don't always have to win.
Yeah, dude.
And don't push the matter because it gets worse.
I think
So,
fixing your eye gets so much worse. I think fixing your eyes on the goal too is really important here. Like
the greater goal.
The greater
not the immediate goal.
Yep. Is winning this fight right now going to help me achieve the ultimate goal of peaceful parenting? Yes or no?
That's the moral of the story. Peaceful parenting. That's what we're here for. Peaceful parenting.
What we're doing.
Peaceful parenting, peaceful divorce, friends. Unhexing your ex, if you will.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to jump off here. I'm not jumping. We're not trying to talk your ears off, but we appreciate you tuning in.
Oh my God.
Again, I want to say if you have any questions, comments, concerns, stories, things that you're going through,
Virtual high fives.
things that you want to hear from us. I mean,
Favorite songs.
Yeah, share.
Those clips that you want us to see and that you think we would find value in on the internet, on the Instagram.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. If you see parenting things and you want to pass those along, check us out, Unhex Your Ex on Instagram, How to Unhex Your Ex on Instagram, Facebook, Gmail. And we're hopefully going to be pushing this out more and more. Maybe adding a Twitch, Patreon, something. But yeah, a Twitch to maybe add some video. We'll see. But we're looking at maybe a Patreon so you can hear from Coen, which will be cool. He's super interested in getting on here, so we'll see. But all right, guys, we appreciate y'all and have a good week.